it's very important if you're a business owner to understand that local SEO is not dead. So 46% of all Google searches have local intent. 78% of those searches done on a mobile device, and 97% of consumers learn about local businesses online before they learn about them anywhere else. I think is really important for local businesses to do when it comes to SEO. Now, whatever the case, just understand that first, local SEO is still very important. Do not forget about it, okay? Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Eli Adams. In this week's episode, I really want to talk about something that I've been pondering for a couple of months now. And that specific topic is local SEO. And I think that there's a misconception out there around local SEO, especially since AI has come out. A lot of people have seen a drop in traffic because for informational pages or informational websites, people, instead of going to Google now, they're going to ChatGPT or another AI to get those questions answered. But when it comes to local search intent and local businesses, like, you know, if you're a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a chiropractor, a TMS clinic, a therapist, a grocery store, an oil change, or tire shop, any of those types of locations where somebody comes to your business, those locations still need to focus on SEO. And really all of the different types of SEO need to happen as well. SEOs are learning how to adjust now in this new AI world. And there's a lot of good SEOs out there that have potentially figured it out. I think we're still in a learning process and we're doing everything we can to figure it out. But with some of our clients, we have had some great success outside of the local space. But for this podcast, we want to talk about local SEO. So really diving in, I have some stats up here. If you're a business owner out there and you're like, why should I focus on local SEO? Let me give you a couple of stats here that might pique your interest. Okay, so 46% of all Google searches have local intent. So that's nearly half of the 8.5 billion aimed at finding something nearby. So that's any of those like local type keywords. That's really what that's talking about. So almost half of 8.5 billion searches per day have that local intent. So it's still like you can look at that and you can be like, it's so important that I have my local SEO put together. 78% of local mobile searches result in an offline purchase within 24 hours. Think about how often you're driving around or just sitting on the couch and you're like, Chick-fil-A near me or tire shop near me. I need an oil change tomorrow. It's Saturday. So where's the best place? And do they have coupons? Like you're doing those searches. So 78% of those searches done on a mobile device, people are going to within 24 hours. So, I mean, those are some incredible stats. And 97% of consumers learn about local businesses online before they learn about them anywhere else. So a lot of local businesses, especially the local mom and pop shops, they don't have money for commercials. They don't have programmatic advertising on Hulu and stuff like that. A lot of them don't even have money for paid advertising. A lot of them are learning about the business and their products and services online organically before they see them anywhere else, right? So it's very important if you're a business owner to understand that local SEO is not dead. Let me talk about SEO being dead for a minute. So, you know, I've been doing SEO. I've been deep in SEO for about 17 years. You know, I built my first website in 1998. I built an e-commerce website in 2003, 2004, and I did SEO back then. But that was like going to Yahoo because really like Google wasn't even a thing at that point. That was going to Yahoo and looking for directories to get put on and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of like thought put into it. It was more just like mechanical work to try to rank. More so like rank in like a Rolodex as opposed to something like a search engine that had an algorithm. So, but for about 17 years now, I've been doing SEO. And from close to the beginning, I have heard almost every single year, SEO is dead. Now, why that keeps popping up, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's SEOs trying to be like, you know, transparent, or if it's, you know, paid search people trying to say, spend your money over here, or if it's the billboard people saying, hey, this is more important than SEO. I don't know what it is, but let me tell you a quick story about the first really big viral SEO is dead article that I read. So this was back in, man, I want to say it was like 2009 or 2010, maybe even 2011. But there was a Forbes article that came out that said SEO is dead. And it was written by Ken Krogh. And everyone read that. It went viral. It was shared everywhere. People were freaking out. I worked at an agency at that time, and we had people calling in. We had about 6,000 clients at that time. And we had people calling in saying, is this really true? You know, we're paying for SEO services. We had 6,000 SEO clients, not counting everything else. And we had to address it. And the reason he wrote that article is because there had recently been some algorithm updates, one called Panda and one called Penguin, that came out that really did hurt the traffic to a lot of websites. So at not just our agency, but every agency saw this downturn in traffic. And we were able to address it. We were able to figure out, okay, this is what Google has changed in their algorithm and how we need to, change our methods, our processes. And we were able to help a lot of those people get that traffic back. But initially it was really scary. The funny thing is after I left that agency, I went and worked for Ken Krogh as an SEO for his company, InsideSales.com. And during the interview process, I asked him, I was like, why are you hiring an SEO person when you wrote this article, SEO is dead? And, and he kind of explained what I already knew. If you actually read the article, you would see that he wasn't saying it's actually dead. The old way of doing SEO is dead. There's a new way of doing it now. And based on the algorithm updates and what Google had put out saying, we want you to do it this way instead of that way, the old way was dead. And a lot of people didn't read the article. They just saw the headline and then they shared it. We all know how that is in this social media world, how crazy it is. Somebody sees an article headline, they share it, they believe it as truth. They don't even see half the time what I think is hilarious is the page, The Onion. I don't know if you guys have seen The Onion. It's satire. It's hilarious to read, but people don't see who it's from. And so they see these article headlines and they share it like it's truth. So be aware of that, first of all. Anyway, I thought it was funny that the guy who wrote the article, SEO is dead, actually hired an SEO to come and help him in his company. So SEO wasn't dead, it was just changing. And we're in that same bucket right now, in that same boat where SEO is different now than it was before AI came out. It's we have to do things and look at things and gather data differently now than we did in the past. And that's fine. It's literally happened every year since then. Google has changed something major that has made SEOs look at how they do things, evaluate that, and change certain ways of doing SEO. So SEO is not dead, it's just changing. But my point to bringing up the AI piece is that AI has affected traffic for people who are not local search businesses, right? So if you're a national, you're an international, maybe an e-commerce company that doesn't have a local store, you may have seen a dip in traffic over the last couple of years. That being said, the local mom and pop shops, like I said, dentists, doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, anybody where you have a service or a product that somebody comes to you to pick up, you need to start focusing on local SEO. Do you feel like your website traffic is kind of in a slump right now? Or maybe over the last couple of weeks or months, it's actually dipped quite a bit and you cannot figure out what to do next? Go to fireusmarketing.com/meeting to schedule a free meeting with me where we can look at your website, talk about your frustrations, and see if there's anything that I can do to help you out. The meeting is absolutely free. There's no strings attached. If I can help you, I'd love to. Again, go to fireusmarketing.com/meeting. We'll talk to you soon. So I've been doing this for quite some time, as I've mentioned in the past, and I have seen recently, I have, been talking with a lot of potential clients, a lot of new clients we have, and a lot of current clients that we have, and we've been talking about this local SEO and how to do it, and I've been training a lot of them through webinars and other forms of coaching how to do local SEO, and something that I see a lot of mistakes with these business owners and these marketers. I see a lot of mistakes when they're looking at local SEO. So one mistake I see a lot of business owners doing is SEO to them is a set it and forget it type of a thing. With paid ads, you can turn it on today, you can turn it off tomorrow, and it's just done. With SEO, sometimes it does take time to to do the SEO, to grow online. And they think once they have that momentum, that they can just stop doing it and the momentum will continue. I'm telling you right now, not only will you go backwards because Google loves freshness. They love to see new content. They love to see new SEO. They love to see new optimizations. You will go backwards. But not only that, your competition is going to continue to do SEO. They're going to continue to outrank you. They're going to continue to get more reviews and continue to add more content and localize that content and get more links and more directories and all of that. And they will pass you up. So the first mistake I want you to understand not to make as a business owner is SEO is a long-term play. It's not a set it and forget it. Now, there is a component in the beginning. If you do hire an SEO, the first like 90 days, there is a lot more work involved because there's some technical SEO and a lot of cleanup that needs to happen on the technical side before you can start to build everything else out. There's a lot more work in the beginning than there is long-term, but it's not a set it and forget it thing. The second thing is a lot of companies don't have a strategy around reviews. So it's good to get reviews, but it's better to strategically get them. And what I mean by that is not only quantity of reviews, but freshness of reviews, how often you get them, and then also keywords that are in those reviews. And you can somewhat prompt the person who's leaving a review. If you're talking to them in your business as they leave, you could talk to them about it. Or if you send out an email or text after they bought the product, you can also hint that you want them to use certain keywords. So having keywords within the 5-star reviews are super key to Google ranking you for those keywords. So whatever keywords you're trying to rank for, whether it's like TMS clinic in Salt Lake City, Utah, then try to prompt your customers to leave reviews with those words in them, okay? The other thing to understand about reviews is that a bad review is not always bad long-term, right? There's a lot of people who come to me and say, hey, I got a 1-star review. How do I get rid of it, right? A lot of times Google is not going to let you get rid of that unless, one, you can prove they were never a customer or client. If it's malicious, if it's vulgar, there's a handful of other things that Google will look at that maybe they will get rid of that review. But in most cases, they don't. So there are two options. So option one, which I don't like as much, is that you just get a bunch more reviews that pushes that negative 1-star review down so that when somebody comes to your location online, they mostly see the positive reviews up top. Not just that, but having more positive reviews is going to help the overall star rating increase. So that's option one. I don't love that option as much. Option two is to actually fix it. A lot of times these 1-star reviews are legitimate. They maybe did have a bad experience. They maybe did not like the product. And you as a business owner, sometimes you're so stubborn that you're like, there's no way my product's that bad. Like it might be. If you have multiple people reviewing your product and saying it's a bad product, it tastes bad or it smells bad or whatever, it made me sick, whatever it is, fix the product, right? But what you need to do on the review side is that you need to respond in a positive way and try to fix that problem. So if they had a bad experience, then respond to them and say, hey, I would love for you to come back in. I'll give you a free service this time. Say it was a massage. It was a bad massage, right? I will give you a free massage with a different person or different technique or whatever. I promise we're going to make it up to you. This is not our norm. We are a high quality massage parlor and we want to make sure that you're taken care of, right? So that person comes back in, you take care of it, then you ask them to, if they had a good experience, to adjust the review. If you can get it from a 1 to a 5, Google loves that so much more. Like if you're looking at, like a ranking of points, let's say that Google gives you points for these stars. Let's just to make it easy, say 1 star is 1 point, 5 stars, 5 points. If you get a 1 star to go back up to a 5-star, that's like 8 points. Like there's no other way to get 8 points than to do that. Fixing negative reviews and making them positive because you reached out to the client and you made it better is the way to get those extra points. And Google loves that. So put together a strategy for getting reviews. Make sure you're responding to each of them. Make sure you're getting them often so you have that freshness. So not only do you want more than your competition, but you want them often, more often than competition, and you want them loaded with some of the keywords that you're trying to rank for. So think about that when you're doing reviews. The other thing I see people doing a lot is if you have multiple locations, they're cloning their location pages. So if you're doing a Google business profile, a lot of times you're going to want to link to a location page. If you're a dentist that's in 15 locations in your area, you don't want to copy and paste each page and just change the name, because then you have 15 different locations that's all duplicate content except for the location name and maybe the phone number. You need something unique on each of those pages about that location. It's not a copy and paste thing, right? So in order to get the full value of those location pages, it needs to be, let's say that, one of them, let's say a dentist is in Salt Lake City, Utah, another dentist is in Provo, Utah, another one is in Logan, Utah, and another one is in St. George, Utah. I'm using Utah, obviously, because I'm in Utah, but the example stands wherever you are. Each of those locations, they have their own newspapers, they have their own events, they have their own cultures in some cases, right? So on that location page, you need to make it specific to that city, to that culture, to, the location. And not only will the people appreciate it more, but Google will also appreciate that more. And sort of along those lines, being in those locations, the last point I wanted to bring up here was trying to get local links from local businesses, from local blogs, from local newspapers. So like, it's great that you have your aunt Carrie write a blog post on her, blogger.com website that's 40 years old and link back to you. That great. But if you can get a newspaper in that area, the Salt Lake City Tribune, if you're in Salt Lake City, right? Or I think it's Sunrise Desert, I can't remember. St. George has its own newspaper, right? So whether it's a newspaper, it's other local businesses that you partner with because, they're not competition, but you help each other, have them write about you on a blog post and link to you. That will go so much farther than some of these like just vague random links that some people get. So those are some of the biggest mistakes I see people make when optimizing for local SEO. It kind of goes into the myths. I wanted to talk a little bit about myths as well for local SEO, but really they kind of overlap. So like, you don't just set it and forget it. Like a lot of people think just set it and forget it and you're fine. The other myth is that people think that if I just rank for my brand name, I'll be fine. Like some of the companies that I have worked with that have been clients or that are clients, their name is not something that people are going to search for unless they already know you, unless they've been to you before, they're going to search for your name. So it's not going to get you any additional traffic. And if you don't rank for your name, there's two problems. One is that you have a very similar name to something else that Google already has that intent scoped out for. Let's talk about intent for a second. I used to work for an essential oil company. And, one of the leaders always said, I want you to rank for the word lavender. Rank number 1 for the word lavender. The problem is when I went to Google and typed in lavender, it wasn't necessarily essential oils. There's lavender, the color. There's lavender, the smell. There's lavender, the flower. There's lavender, the oil. There's so many different things around lavender that the intent on Google's side, like their perspective, was not lavender essential oil. Unless you typed in lavender oil or lavender essential oil, that was not the intent, right? So be aware of like when you're trying to rank for your business name, be aware of the intent. Fire Us Marketing. For the longest time, it would pull up fire stations, right? When I first built it, it would pull up fire stations or fires in the United States or other stuff like that. So now Fire Us Marketing is actually a brand. People search for it. And it does show up with a lot of, it shows up with YouTube, it shows up with social media, it shows up with websites, all of that. So just keep that in mind. It's not, if you're ranking for your business name, that is not the most important thing for you to grow online. The other thing that is also important, I forgot to mention in the beginning, is hyper local content. So when you are writing a blog post about your service or your product, try to make it localized. Try to talk about, we went to an expo down the street in Salt Lake City for this dentist, right? We went to the expo center and, one of our most popular products sold was, whatever it was, right? But if you can write some blog posts about localized content within your area and your products and services, you're going to rank a lot better than your competition, because a lot of them are just writing blog posts that, and it's good. You can write a blog post that answers questions about your services. If you're a chiropractor and you specialize in pregnancy, for example, you can answer questions around being pregnant and going to a chiropractor. But if you can answer that in a way that makes it localized to where you are, your specific city, it's going to go so much further and help the people in your local area. Also, it'll answer questions for people on, the other side of the country as well, if they're looking for that and you're ranking well. Okay, listen up real quick. I promise I'm going to get you right back to the episode. But are you frustrated that your product or service isn't getting the right amount of visibility it deserves online? If so, and you want my help guiding you through the SEO optimization, go to fireusmarketing.com/SEO to get my free SEO guide. Talks about all levels of SEO: local SEO, regional SEO, national SEO, and international SEO. It should give you everything you need to optimize your website at a basic level. If you'd like help beyond that, feel free to hit me up at fireusmarketing.com. I'd be happy to jump on a call and talk through your needs. Now let's get back to this episode. Okay, so let's review really quick some of the things that I think is really important for local businesses to do when it comes to SEO. Now, you can do this yourself. You can hire an SEO to do it. You can hire an agency to do it. Whatever the case, just understand that first, local SEO is still very important. Do not forget about it, okay? Also, do not set it and forget it, okay? So don't just assume that you can do your SEO, do your technical SEO, and then just forget about it for a while. So that's number 2. Localize your content like we just talked about. So if you can talk about the local expo that you went down the street while talking about a product, that's so much better. Put a strategy around your reviews, okay? You need your reviews to be keyword rich. They need to be fresh, so coming in often, and they need to be quantity wise, potentially more than your competitor. Now, that's not always the case in ranking factor. I think the other areas we talked about are more important: keyword dense reviews, as well as the freshness. And then the other thing to remember is to respond to those reviews, whether they're positive or negative. You respond to them and say, thank you for your kind words. We loved having you come in today, right? If it's positive. Or if it's negative, you need to fix that. Instead of trying to get somebody to go and get it removed and filing a complaint with Google, it's so much better for you just to fix the problem with that customer and have them go and change that review. So keep that in mind as well. And then the last 2 are, make sure to try to get links from your local newspapers, your local bloggers, other businesses in your area that have websites. They can also write a blog about you and link to you. And then the last thing is, if you have multiple locations, make sure that your location page is unique to that location. And as hard as that might seem to rewrite all of the content over and over and over again, it's so important that you don't just copy and paste the content from one location to another. It's so important to be very localized in that content for that location or services page that you have. So hopefully that helps a little bit. If you're a local business, it's really important to understand these things. Also understanding that SEO is not dead. It's just changing. And I think that you as a local business have more of the advantage right now as opposed to others who are competing with AI. Just because people don't go to AI right now, very often at least, and say, local tire shop near me, right? They still go to Google for that. So make sure that you're optimized for some of those keywords. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope that if you're a business owner, if you need more help, I do have a local SEO ebook that I've written that I use on webinars. It's not public anywhere. I use it on webinars when I do local trainings and stuff. So if you want that ebook, hit me up, either leave a message in the comments or send me a message at fireusmarketing.com, and I'm happy to send that ebook to you to help you get started. Or you can join one of my upcoming webinars, and I would be happy to give it to you at that point. Another benefit to joining some of the webinars that I do is that we pick a handful of people from the webinar and we actually do a local SEO audit for them. So if you're interested in diving in further for some local SEO, feel free to reach out. Look, I don't normally promote myself on the podcast because we're usually focused on a guest and the value that they add. But, this podcast, hopefully it added some value to you. And my little sort of like promotion for me is that we do offer local SEO services at firesmarketing.com. So if you are interested, you can go to firesmarketing.com, go to the contact us page if you want. You're welcome to, email sales@firesmarketing.com. Find us on social media, hit me up on LinkedIn, whatever. Just get in contact with me and I'd be happy to, potentially do a local SEO audit for you, figure out where you're at and where we could add some value. And if not, then that's fine as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it added some value to you and that you can elevate your local business online using local SEO. Remembering, the handful of things we talked about, also understanding that that's kind of just scratching the surface. Those are just areas where I see people struggling the most. Business owners come in and they're not super digital savvy. Those are the things that they've lacked from what I can tell in my experience. But there is a lot more that goes into it. So either get my ebook, hire us as an agency, or continue tuning into the podcast and we'll just keep teaching you that way. So thank you again for taking the time and joining us on this episode of the Digital Revolution podcast. And we'll talk to you guys next week.